Good morning, students. I am your Ekida sir. Today, welcome to the online class. Here, we'll discuss the great topics of world, that is, the Mauryan empires and Ashoka. Dear friend, as you know that by performing a great role, Ashoka mesmerized the history of the world, and not only he popularized the great Mauryan empire in India as well as world, but also he popularized the ideology of Buddhism, popularized the ideology of non-violence in the lateral part into world history. The Mauryans, the Mauryans, if we'll go to the early history of the story and early history of this Mauryan empire, we can say this Mauryan empire is one of the most important empire of world. Mauryan empire is the first historical empire politically united whole of India. So before going to discuss about this great personality Ashoka and Mauryan empire, I would like to share with you that the founding father of Mauryan empire was Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya, and this dynasty was founded in 322 BC, before Christ, 322 BC. There are several questions have been given to me, particularly on these topics, Mauryans. But before going to discuss, we should go thoroughly with the great topics, the Mauryan empires and Ashokas. Earlier, already I have told you, in the history of India, the Mauryan dynasty is the first historical dynasty about which a definite historical evidence is there. And through different sources, we can say that this dynasty, for the first time, they politically united whole India and gave a good administration to our country. Now a question arises in our mind. What are the sources to know about the history of Maurya? Definitely, we are having two sources. One is archaeological sources and another is literary sources. If you go to the archaeological sources, we will get the inscription, the edicts, the pillar inscription of Ashokas. The literary sources of Mauryan empires, particularly the books written by Chanukyas, that books is Arthashastras, and another top books, that is Megasthenes Indicas. Again, we will get information from others Jaina and Buddhist texts like Dipavansa, Mahavansa, and another top books that written by Visakhadatta, Mudra Rakshas. These literary texts are given valuable informations to know about the history of Maurya and Ashokas, their administration, the social condition, the political conditions, the religious conditions of the then periods, that was vividly given in Arthashastras, then Megasthenes Indicas, Visakhadatta's Mudra Rakshas, and others, Jainas and Buddhist texts. Earlier, I have told you, dear friends. Earlier, I have already told you, this dynasty was founded by Chandragupta Mauryas and consolidated by which grandsons Ashokas, who liberated these countries from foreign rules. After the death of Chandragupta Maurya, his son Bindusara, who is also known as Amitra Ghat in Indian history, he ruled for a short periods. However, he enjoyed a lot in his life and give a and gave a good administration to India. The Puranas, says that he ruled for 25 years. After Bindusara, then we come to Ashoka, who is one of the most important rulers of world history as well as Indian history. Dear friend, earlier I have told you that our topic is that Ashoka, the great Ashoka. Earlier I have told you the three great A of world history. One is Alexander, another Akbar, and then Ashoka the Great. One of the most famous ruler of ancient India is Ashoka, who ruled from 273 BC to 232 BC, who has mesmerized the both academicians and politicians in the 20th centuries due to his unique ideas and personalities. In 1837, James Prinsep, who discovers, the Brahmi script, where he found and he clarified the whole world historians to this name, Ashoka. Priyadasi Ashoka. Devanama Priyadasi Ashoka. After coming to power, Ashoka started his career of conquest. Earlier, dear friend, only one of state, one of Janapadas, that is Republican and Janapada, we can say, that was not conquered by Chandragupta Mauryas and Bindusaras. That's why one of the most foremost tasks before him was that the annexation of Kalinga. There were so many regions why Ashoka conquered Kalinga. But now the most important things before Ashoka, that is conquest of Kalinga. That event taken place in 261 BC in his life. Kalinga War was one of the most important events in the life of Ashoka. He invaded Kalinga and defeated Kalinga. At that time, this Kalinga was a Janapada or Republicans states. The peoples of Kalingas, children, women, they fought to save their motherlands, but before Ashoka's strength, they surrenders. Dear friend, I want to say here that Ashoka's after Kalinga War, this great Chandasokas becomes Dharmashoka. After the Kalinga War, after this terrible, horrible scene of Ashoka's lives, this horrible, terrible scenes in the life of Ashoka's, a great transitions in his life we have seen that he converted from Chandasoka to Dharmashokas. No doubt historians, they are given different opinions that one of the great monk named Upagupta, who converted Ashoka to Buddhist religion or Buddhism. But Here, I would like to share with you that what was Ashoka Dhammas. What was Ashoka Dhammas? The here Ashoka Dhammas didn't involve worship of any gods or performance of sacrifice. He felt that just as a fathers try to teach his children, he tried to teach his subjects on different administrative issues in different principles of lives. His dhamma was not just like a religion, but some principles, some ethics of moral conducts. That was he wanted to spread this message, some principles, how the children they should get good lesson from their fathers in particularly this moral thoughts, how that is developed in the minds of his subjects. He appointed some officers, special officers, to propagate this ideology of non-violence, moral conducts, some principles around his empires. He sends this special kind of officers names Dharma Mahamatra to propagate this message, these principles of lives, this ideology of non-violence, truths to his subjects. Dear friends, the popularity of Ashoka was not confined to academic and political circles. Rather, he became a part of popular memory in the course of 20th century through comics, television series, and movies. A comic on Ashoka appeared widely popular series that is called Amar Chitra Katha. Then even Jawaharlal Nehru also written in his books Discovery of India about the greatness of Ashoka, how he united India. One can guess the popularity of Ashokas from several books of Mauryan rulers by both colonial and Indian scholars that appear in the first half of 20th century. As V.S. Smith's already given his statements that Ashoka, the Buddhist emperor of India, but the Indian historians R.G. Bhandarkar, he cut the arguments of V.S. Smith and given that no, we can't say that he is only the Buddhist rulers, but he is a great administrator and a great thinkers and philosophers also. Thank you.